So I think we're going to make 3 or 4 or 5 times our money in the next 10 years in Tesla. And I think it's
again, from on top of the 20 that you've made.
How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Tesla stock. We're going to go over and look at exactly what to expect for Tesla stock because we have some important economic data that is related to inflation coming out tomorrow. We have the core CPI data for the month of March coming out tomorrow. We're going to be talking about what is the forecast, what can we expect for the overall stock market and also for Tesla stock too. We're also going to be hearing from Ron Barron, which is an American mutual fund hedge fund manager, which manages multi-billion-dollar assets, why he believes Tesla could potentially be folding multiple times within the next few years. So we're going to be hearing from him too. So make sure you stay tuned. Now let's get right into the video. As you can see over here, we have Tesla stock today that's sitting at $975.93. We're down 4.83% for the day. You know, as you can see over here, for 5 days we are down significantly, 14%. We talked about the past few days that ahead of this anticipated economic data coming out tomorrow, we might see some extreme volatility with the overall stock market. And as you can see, we're experiencing that with Tesla stock too. But overall, when you look at a 1-year chart for Tesla, we are, slowly climbing up, making lower highs over here, getting close to that all-time high price. But we might see some extreme volatility as we head into tomorrow and for the weeks to come. So when you look at the overall stock market too, as you can see, we are seeing multiple stocks go down, especially the big tech companies, multi-trillion-dollar companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla also being down. Having these high inflation numbers really is not going to be helping this big tech companies. If inflation is extremely high, of course, the Fed suggested that they're going to be taking extreme measures to tighten up this inflation that is happening right now. So let's talk about exactly what to expect for Tesla stock tomorrow and some of the data that we need to be watching out for. So for tomorrow, we have this important CPI data coming out at 8:30 a.m. We have the CPI data for the month of March. The previous was actually 7.9%, but the forecast is 8.4%. And we also have the core CPI year over year for the month of March. The previous month was 6.4%, but the forecast we're sitting at 6.6%. So if we have any kind of a big surprise or anything like that, we might see some massive volatility with the overall stock market. So when you look at Tesla stock today, also, we broke down with the support area between, around $1,000. And we've been talking about, okay, Tesla stock filled the gap over here, and the support area we're looking at was $1,000, but unfortunately we broke below this $1,000 level. So tomorrow, if we see some extreme volatility to the downside, we might actually be going lower. But if there's any not a big surprise with this inflation data, we might bounce back. But however, based off of what's been going on with the overall world, when you look at what's going on with Russia, Ukraine, energy prices has been high the past few months, and in spite of that, we've seen a lot of increase in different products. The price has been increasing a lot. We are expecting a big number when it comes to this inflation data coming out tomorrow, especially some products have skyrocketed in spite of what's been going on with energy prices spiking up. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But overall, we like Tesla stock, going into, next year or the next few months, any price is actually really attractive for Tesla. Even if it drops, to $700 or $800, no matter what, it's a very, very solid long-term investment, in my opinion. Also, we're going to be hearing right now from, as I mentioned, an American mutual fund manager that is in control of multi-billion-dollar assets, that takes a massive position on Tesla stock right now, which is Ron. He recently did an interview with CNBC, so we're going to be hearing from him why he thinks that Tesla is a fantastic long-term, opportunity, why he thinks that Tesla can be, going up a lot within the next few years, and why he's continuously holding and staying aggressive with his investments in Tesla. So we're going to be hearing from back, and I'm going to come back, and we're going to be talking about what to expect for Tesla stock tomorrow in the short term.
I didn't realize you have 12.8% of your assets under management in Tesla at this point.
Yeah, because it went up 20 times in the past 2 or 3 years. If you might remember, when I was on initially, and I was describing the investment, I said I thought we would make 20 times our money in this investment. And what do you know? We invested $380 million And between 2014 and 2016, the average price was then about $40 a share, and we've made about $1 billion, about 20 times so far. So we made about $6 billion so far. We sold about $1 billion worth of stock.
Just because you didn't want it to be an even bigger position in the portfolio?
Yes. Well, what it was is that I was getting widely criticized for having such a large percentage of my assets in two of our mutual funds, Barron Partners Fund and Barron Focused Growth Fund, in one stock. And people said, how can you be so crazy? And so I wanted them to think I wasn't crazy. I know I'm crazy. but they didn't want, I want to be responsible to people, and I didn't want people to say, he's lost his mind. And even though I think for Tesla, this is the very beginning of what they're doing. I mean, they just reported numbers a couple of days ago, and they said that they did 310,000 cars in a quarter, in the 3-month period of time, 310,000. General Motors did 24. Not 24,000, 24. Sure. And I'm a huge fan of Mary Barra, and I think she will be successful. And they have this cruise inside of it that I think is going to be a very cool business. And we're an investor in cruise through her private company.
So you think GM will be successful too? You think this is just the beginning for Tesla, meaning what?
Yeah, so they did 310,000 cars in the quarter, and people said, well, they should have done 317,000 cars in the quarter. And but the plant in China was closed for 4 or 5 days, and there's supply chain problems in this period of time. And so everyone's focused on this quarter for 310,000 cars. In 4 years, 3 years, they're going to be doing $1 million a quarter, not 310,000. A million cars a quarter. And if you go 10 years, they're going to be doing something like 5 million cars a quarter. So here you are doing 310,000 cars, and people saying a few thousand more, a few thousand less. I'm thinking about in 8 or 10 years, this is 20 million car company.
You expect to still be an investor in 8 to 10 years?
Yes.
Are you selling any more shares?
Periodically, if people say, if it gets crazy big relative to the size of the fund right now, then I would. I own 1.25 million shares for our firm in the company. I have not sold a single share of that, and I don't expect to.
Okay.
In my lifetime.
In your lifetime, you don't expect?
In my lifetime.
Okay.
And the same thing with SpaceX. So I think we're going to make 3 or 4 or 5 times our money in the next 10 years in Tesla. And I think it's
again from on top of the 20 that you've made.
And in the case of SpaceX, I think over the next 10 years, we're probably going to make 20 or 30 times our money.
When do you think that company goes public?
I think that it's unlikely that SpaceX is going to go public anytime soon. But this Starlink business that they have, I think that could go public in the next 3 years. And that's the business that is ultimately looking, that's this, I was describing to you about Ukraine. I think that's a business that could ultimately is addressing a potential, they call it TAM, total addressable market, of $1 trillion, actually multiple trillions, communications. And so it's for the government, it's for commercial, it's for people who don't have internet. If you want to have more equitable distribution of wealth in the world, you have to have people educated. The way you get educated, you have to have the internet. If you don't have the internet, you can't accomplish that. So this is broadband satellite internet, and it's an unbelievable business. And the reason they can do it and other people can't is that they have no cost for launch. So I want to talk about this. And so when everyone else has launch costs of $100 million, $200 million, $300 million per rocket, and they use it one time and then it burns up. Our guy sends up his rockets, brings it back down, and uses them over and over again. So his cost is a tiny fraction of the cost of a rocket.
So tomorrow in the short term, as I said, we're looking at a very, very important data coming out tomorrow. So if there's not going to be any kind of a big surprise, we might potentially just stay afloat and stay this between $1,000 to $970 area. But however, if we see a nasty number that is really unexpected, we might drop down to around $950, which is right around over here, or $930, which is right around over here, the next support. So this could potentially be extremely ugly tomorrow. Just brace yourself for that. But however, if it drops, it's a great opportunity to buy this dip as we experience it. And if if that does not happen, if we actually not get a huge surprise, we had this White House briefing that happened today. They're indicating that, they're expecting high CPI data, inflation numbers to come out. So everybody's expecting this number. So if there's not going to be a big surprise, maybe we might just bounce back higher. So that is going to be the prediction for tomorrow. Just be on the lookout for that, but it's just going to be extremely volatile. Just be on the lookout for that. All of this data that I talked about is going to be coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So right before the market open, we'll see which direction that is going to be inching. So be on the lookout for that. But of course, if you have any questions, make sure to drop in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want free stocks, check out the links in the description box below. But I catch you guys on another video. Have a wonderful day.